All right, how you doing, right? Brian Howard here, BKH Credit Group and BKH Financial. So what I want to do in this video is I want to explain to you guys how BKH Financial, which is my credit repair firm, can actually help you get approved for a home. Now, there are a lot of credit repair companies out there that you can choose to work with, but we like to think that we're one of the best, if not the best. And so there has to be a systematic approach, right, to getting approved for a home loan. A lot of credit repair companies are just about deleting negative items, deleting negative items, deleting negative items. As a matter of fact, some companies even charge you per item deleted. But deleting negative items is not going to help get you to the qualifying home score that you so desire, the qualifying credit score in order to help you get the home that you desire. So there has to be a systematic approach when it comes to preparing a credit file or getting someone's credit file mortgage loan ready. So what I'm gonna do in this video is I'm kind of gonna give you a condensed rundown of the approach that we take here at BKH in order to help homeowners get qualifying scores. And these strategies that we use, these techniques have been very, very, very successful. As a matter of fact, when we have the proper participation from the customer combined with what we provide, you're almost certain to be able to get that home loan that you so desire. So let me break this down. And again, like, this is not a recorded commercial or anything. I'm not reading off of a screen. I'm telling you straight from my head, from my experience, from my day-to-day knowledge, what we do. I did write down a couple of notes just so I make sure I hit the main points that I wanted to cover in the video. So if you see me just look down a second, that's just because I'm checking my notes to make sure I kind of covered everything, meaning everything that I wanted to cover for the video. But this is a condensed version of this strategy that we use to help people get into home loans. So my first belief is a person with a great credit score is an educated person, meaning a person that's educated about how credit works. So here at BKH, what we do is we work really, really hard to make sure the consumer is educated about credit. We do that through these videos. We do this through social media posts. We do this through email campaigns. We do this through my YouTube channel. We're always constantly educating the consumer about their credit. We believe that is key. That's vital. You must understand how credit works. So a big part of our program is going to be education. When you come into our program, we're going to flood you on a weekly basis with credit education, emails and blog posts and videos, etc. Right? So that's the first thing. Next, after you pull your credit reports, there's a systematic approach, right, that needs to be taken if we're trying to get a home loan. Believe it or not, depending on what your situation is and what it is that you're trying to accomplish, which obviously for the purpose of this video, we're talking about home loans, there's a certain way that you need to attack the credit report, right? So here's how we attack the credit report. The first thing we do is we delete all previous addresses. Any addresses that on your credit file that is not your current address, we attempt to get those addresses removed. And we're usually very successful at that. Now, there's a couple of reasons why we do that. Number one, lenders like stability. They don't like to see a lot of addresses on a credit report because that shows you move around, that shows instability. The other thing is that a lot of some of the old addresses may be tied to some of the negative accounts that are on your credit report, and then those old addresses may be used to actually verify some of the negative accounts that are on your credit report. And so we want those removed so that the creditors and the collection agencies, when we go to work on your credit report, can't tie you to those old addresses. So we want to try to get the credit report cleaned up to where all that's showing is your current address. That's the first thing. Next, after we delete your old addresses, if you don't have any credit, well, let's back up. If you have open credit cards, we want to make sure your utilization is where it needs to be. Now, I know that, if you read just about anywhere and you read about utilization, almost every, credit company or credit guru is going to tell you that you need to have your utilization at 30%. I'm not saying that they're wrong, right? I'm not saying that they're wrong, but it's been my experience, having looked at hundreds and hundreds of credit reports. What I've seen is consumers with the best credit scores, with the highest scores, typically have their utilization below 10%. So if you have open credit cards, you want to aim for utilization below 10%. Now, a lot of you that have credit issues probably don't even have credit cards, and so you need to reestablish your credit, because most home loans are going to require that you have a minimum of 2, sometimes at least 3 positive trade lines reporting on your credit report. So there's actually 3 sources that I recommend that you can use to help reestablish your credit, because we know 35% of your credit score is payment history, and another 30% is utilization. That's 65% of your score. And there's another part of that that's called mix of credit. That's 10%. So if you take those 3 things, that comes out to about 75% of your credit score. And I'm going to show you how you can attack that, or how you can manipulate that, in a positive manner to help boost your score really fast. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to apply for a secured credit card with your bank, whoever you bank with. Now, if you don't have a card, if you don't have a particular bank that you bank with, which you need a bank account. So I'm going to assume that you have a bank account, but let's just say if for whatever reason you don't want to get a secured card with that bank, I'll put a link to a secured cards either below this video, or you can reach out to me. I'll send it to you. But you want to get you a secured credit card, because obviously if your score is not good for a home, you probably can't get a unsecured credit card. So you're going to go to the bank, you're going to get a secured credit card. Now, after you go to get a secured credit card, then you're going to get a retail store account card. And I have a source that pretty much approves everyone for this particular retail store card, right? So you're going to get your secured card, you're going to get your retail store card, and then you're going to get what we call a credit builder loan. But it's a credit builder loan where you're kind of using your own money. The source I recommend for that is Self-Lender. Self-Lender. Now, I won't go into detail in this video how it works, but it's very, very simple and very, very effective. So I'll make sure I put that link somewhere in this video, or you reach out to me, I'll send it to you. So we're going to get a secured card, we're going to get a retail store card, and we're going to get a installment loan with Self-Lender. What does that do? Number one, that gives us 3 pieces of positive credit reporting every month that we didn't have before, right? The other thing is going to help with our utilization, because we're going to keep our utilization below 10%. So, if we get a secured card with a $300 limit, we're not going to buy anything more than $30, right? Same thing with the retail store account. We're going to keep it below 30%. We're going to keep that below 10% as well. And then we're going to have our self-builder loan. So what does that do? That helps with utilization, 30%. It's going to help with payment history, 35%. And it's going to help with mix of credit, another 10%. So we're going to 75% positive impact on your credit score within the first 30 days. Okay. Now that's something that you, the consumer, has to do. That's not something that we can do for you. We can provide you the sources, but it's up to you to go ahead and apply for those accounts, and almost anyone can get approved. Now, after we do that, the next thing we want to do, right? So after we reestablish our credit, now we got to attack the credit report. Now, here's where you have to make a decision. You can dispute items on your credit report that you believe are 100% unverifiable, inaccurate, or outdated. If you feel comfortable doing that, and you feel that you're consistent and that you have enough credit knowledge to do so. Personally, something as big as your home purchase, which is going to be for most people the largest purchase that you'll ever make in your lifetime, I highly, highly suggest you hire a professional credit repair firm to work with, someone that's very knowledgeable of disputing credit reports in a way that helps increase your score for home loans, because that's, like I said, that's a little different of a strategy. And here's what I mean. So obviously, if we're trying to get a qualifying credit score, We're building our credit up with the 3 accounts that I mentioned before. Now it's time to try to remove negative items. When you're trying to boost your score, you want to focus on items that have become late on your report or went in default in the last 24 months. Let me repeat that. The most important accounts, the most important negative accounts that you want to try to address on your credit report when you're trying to buy a home is those that hit your report within the last 24 months. Why? Because they have the highest impact on your score. You see, accounts that are 4 years old, 5 years old, although they're on your credit report and although they're hurting your score, they have very little impact in your overall score because they're so old. Now, obviously, if you remove those, you should see, some type of increase in your score, but it's not going to be the type of increase that you'll see if you're able to correct or delete a negative account within the last 24 months. So you want to focus on the last 24 months. I'm not saying that you shouldn't challenge, items past 24 months, but just understand that the items in the last 24 months are the ones that are going to give you the highest score boost. Okay. And so with that being said, if you follow, these simple tips, this is something that you can do on your own. If you feel comfortable and you feel knowledgeable and you feel that you can be consistent about doing it, but if you need guidance and you want to work with, a firm, someone that has experience in this, then, obviously, I would love to offer our services to you. Offering our services to you was not necessarily the purpose of this video, but it was more so of an education tool. So at least, at least now you have a blueprint, right? You have a strategy in place that you can start implementing immediately. You don't have to wait for a credit repair firm in order to go ahead and just pull your credit reports, look at your credit reports and send a letter and ask them to remove all the old addresses. You don't have to wait for us to do that. You don't have to wait to hire a credit repair firm to go ahead and start reestablishing your credit with the secured card, the retail store card, and the installment loan that I mentioned before. These are all things that you can do on your own. Okay. And then if you need education material, please reach out to me. I'll put you on my one of my email lists, and I'll be glad to send you all types of information that just basically educates you about your credit. And so just by following these steps, I think that we can get you to that qualifying score for a home loan. Again, this is Brian Howard of BKH. Feel free to reach out to me if you need some help. I'd love to help you. Thanks.